wake up. I know you're out there, Father. You came back to save me, and I won't let you down! I know you're kind. You think you can waltz in and just take our planet. But you forgot one thing. I'm my father's son! I'm so proud of you.
What's the word, everybody? This is Average Z Fighter. Hope you guys are feeling blessed today and still enjoying Sparking Zero or whatever game you're playing. In life, people are usually trying to do one of two things. You're either trying to take control of your life and pave your own path, or you're trying to learn how to go with the flow and roll with the punches that life throws at you. You know, if life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Sometimes some people's lemons seem more fresh than others. Some of us got moldy lemons. Some of us got more lemons than others. Some of us don't have access to water or sugar. Flowing with life is a really good skill to have. But at some point, if you flow for too long, you'll find yourself flowing in a cycle, in a circle. If you think about a river, every river leads to a bigger body of water that then leads back into another stream, pond, or river, and it's a cycle. Cycles can be good things, but they're usually bad things. And that's why people are usually trying to break out of the cycles, break out of bad habits, giving New Year's resolutions, making promises that they never keep, looking back on life when they get old and reminiscing on things that they wish they should have done, reminiscing on what they used to do in the good old days, but never having anything to show for it. On the flip side, if you spend your entire life trying to grab life by the horns or by the reins and be stringent and control your life, it never turns out the way that you want it to. Whether it's having children, whether it's falling in love, whether it's a car accident, whether it's a death in the family, a sickness, an illness, we cannot control life as much as we wish that we could, just to be painfully honest. And so with trying to grab life by the horns or by the reins comes a lot of pain when things don't turn out the way that you want them to. There is a saying that goes, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And that just means something that you put your hope in when it doesn't happen the way that you thought it would can make you break down. It can make you discouraged. It can make you feel like, what's the point? And that you should just give up. In the later years in life, we often find that life is a delicate balance between taking control and putting in work to get the things that we want, but also learning to roll with the punches as life throws them at us. In our younger and more formative years, I've noticed that many of us are searching for one key thing that many of us don't even find, even up until death, the end of the life cycle. And the thing that many people are searching for that's fundamental to who you are as a person, as a man, as a woman, just as a human, is identity. Many times we try to find our identity in what we do, in what we look like, in our interests, in the people that surround us, or we even try to craft our identity instead of finding our identity. And I think that all of those things are good tools when they don't make up the core foundation of who you are. I think that a lot of us actually do it backwards. And the reason why I say that is because who you are and your identity is already set and established before you're even born. You definitely have influence over who you can become and the administration of who you are. But that endless pursuit of us as humans, as people, reconstructing and deconstructing who we are is often frivolous and can lead to burnout. The emotions and mentality of man is very frail and fickle. And oftentimes we find ourselves changing our identity or trying to conform and mold or adapt our identity based on how we feel. And our feelings change daily, by the minute, by the hour, by the week, by the month. They change so frequently that you could look back and be a totally different person for the worse than who you used to be and not even recognize that it was happening to you. Stick with me for a second. So if you heard what I said us as people trying to shape and mold our identity is often frivolous and leads to burnout. But there is somebody who can shape us. There is somebody who can change us. It's not that we're not supposed to change. It's that we don't have the capacity to create the change that we want most of the time. So stick with me. People are like seeds. A seed has everything that it will become already on the inside of it when that seed is created. If you think of an oak tree, if you think of palm trees, the tallest plants that you can think of, all of that huge matter, that shade, the destiny of that tree came from a single seed. A watermelon seed cannot tell itself that when it grows up, it's going to be an apple tree. An apple seed cannot grow up and tell itself that it's going to be a kiwi or a peanut. It just doesn't work that way. Everything that plant, all the potential that it has on the inside of it is already present within the shell of the seed when it's created. So in the same way that creation or that plant can't decide what it's going to be, we as people oftentimes cannot decide what we are going to be. Everything that we are is already present on the inside of us. So isn't it crazy that we always look outside of ourselves, or we always go searching? We go searching these external sources to find who we are and who we're supposed to be and slap an identity on those things. Just think about it for a second. So if everything that I'm supposed to be is already on the inside of me, the question arises, what is it? And how do I find it? And how do I know that that's what it is? If you go back to that seed analogy, all you have to do is look at the same thing. If everything that seed is going to be is already on the inside of it, how do you know that? And how do you figure it out? You plant the seed, you water and you nurture it, and then you watch what it becomes. The only one who can decide what a seed is going to become is the one that made the seed.
Ooh, that was close.
That's the maker. So who is the maker? Who is the creator?
I'm ready for more when you are.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and the darkness covered the deep waters, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our image, to be like us. They will reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the livestock, all the wild animals of the earth, and the small animals that scurry along the ground." So God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it, reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground." The one that made everything that you see, that's the creator. And even more than the things that we see. Maybe you think I'm only talking about the sky and the water and the trees and nature. No, I'm talking about even deeper than that. It said that he created the heavens and the earth. That alone is a mouthful if you really dissect it. So if he created things, where did he put it? When was the beginning? And what did he make? That's space, that's time, and that's matter right there. All of those things had a creation point. That's the creator. And if you go down just a little bit, it says that he created man from the dust of the earth. So he's the creator. So in the same way that a seed or the creation cannot decide what it's going to be, what it will be is already on the inside of it. We, as the creation, as a creation, we have some say in dominion, and, we can dictate part of what we're going to be and what we're going to do because God has given us that power. But what we're going to be, our capabilities are already on the inside of us. Only the creator can tell us exactly what we can do, exactly. He gives us our capability or our abilities, if that makes sense. So knowing who the creator is, that's the first step right there. because he has the design and the blueprint of what I'm supposed to do. There's a phrase that I love, which is design denotes function. That just means that the way that something is shaped, the way that it is created denotes, or it gives clues about how it's supposed to be used. For example, you don't use erasers for writing. Erasers are usually not sharp objects. They are malleable, they're rubbery, and when you rub it on something, they disintegrate very fast, as opposed to a pen or a pencil that usually has a sharp tip. It has lead that easily transfers marks from one object to another to another object. And that shows you that the design of it shows you, oh, this lead part is meant to be used to convey something or mark something. And this eraser part is meant to be used to erase mistakes or erase this lead part. The design of the pencil, those two portions of a pencil, they denote the function of them, if that makes sense. I think something that is so key here is when it says God created human beings in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. Common sense would tell me that at my most base and fundamental level, I'm designed to be like God, the one that I was created after, the one whose image I bear. And then if you look down just a little bit, it says, then God blessed them. And he said, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it, reign over the fish of the sea, the birds of the sky, all of that type of stuff. If you look around, haven't we done that? For better or for worse, it doesn't say that we did a good job. I'm not saying that we did a good job, but if you look around, we are governing everything. We are probably the biggest governing factor, the biggest superpower. We are actually in the cosmos, in creation, everything that God has done. And there are animals that have, smarter brains than we do, but we were the ones that were given dominion by the Creator. So that in itself gives you a form of identity. That's your starting point right there. Day by day, the world is getting worse, and we can all see that the pillars that seem to hold up the world are crumbling at its foundation. If you look at things like music streaming, being superstars, all of that stuff, the weight of it, the veil has been lifted, right? It used to be this big thing when you would go see your favorite artist, you would get a backstage pass and all of that stuff. And maybe some people care about it, or even when you would record and do music and see them in the studio. Now everyone has a studio in their home. It used to be when you saw your favorite TV hosts like Jimmy Kimmel or Saturday Night Live or things like that, that you really cared what they had to say in their skits. But everybody's doing skits on TikTok. You used to care about your favorite podcasters like Joe Rogan, and some people still do. No knock at them, but everyone has a podcast now. The jig is up. The veil has been lifted. There's really no mystery to anything anymore. Any of the things that used to kind of hold up the world, they're the pillars, the stock markets, the entertainment, movies, all of these different kind of things. The veil has just been lifted. You can find all of this information anywhere, really. And so it's kind of just lost its mystery. It's lost its pizzazz, whatever you want to call it. And so everybody can see everything now. The financial wells of all of these industries are running dry. Even clout. Everybody's doing everything for clout right now, right? You want to take a picture with your favorite celebrity. You want to mention people in your YouTube videos, no matter how big or small the community is. But everyone knows that that stuff doesn't matter anymore. It never really mattered, but it mattered to the communities in the world. But now that everything is so saturated, it really doesn't matter anymore, right? You're doing music, and even artists, big artists are now saying that there's no money in music anymore. The real money is from the merchandise and from the physical CDs and from the touring and all of that stuff. But we will continue to promote this persona of inflated numbers and using bots on streaming platforms and things like that to create the illusion of clout and of motion and all of that stuff. And we do that all over. YouTube creators do that. to get their numbers inflated and things like that. So people can think that they got more motion than they really do. Even partnering with other video game companies. Like, we can tell in the video game community that people are not putting love into what they do anymore. Even with Sparking Zero, it's all for clout. The clout of the old Budokai Tenkaichi games carried Sparking Zero so that people would buy it, but they didn't really put love into the game. And so the question is, how do you find identity without getting lost in this clout culture and having to go through the heartbreak of trying to grab life by the horns and control it and being heartbroken because it'll never turn out the way that you want it to turn, and not falling into the cycle of flowing so much with life that you end up in a cycle that you don't recognize that you're in until your life is over? There's only one answer, and the answer is going back to the blueprint. The one that sits outside of time, the one that knew you would be right where you are right now, the one that ordained for you to be born in the time frame that you were born in, seeing what you were going to see and being accustomed to the customs and the social economic statuses and the social norms and culture of everything that you're going through right now. And that's Jesus. The Bible says that he knew you from your mother's womb. He knit you together before you were born. He set a specific time for you to be here. And because he's the creator, he's the one that knows exactly all of the potential that the seed can become. He is the one that you go back to. Each of us has a spiritual cancer called sin that eats us alive and that causes us to have a debt that we can't pay because the price is eternal. For our transgressions, for our sins, there is a price that we must pay. But there was a man that came and did no wrong. And he gave up his life for you and for me, paying that penalty to afford us the opportunity, if we so choose, to be with him and to choose him and to receive the benefit that he deserves instead of the punishment that we deserve.